Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Today we will present on subject Islamic Financial Management, which is PIF3013 about Berjaya Food Berhad Financial Statement Analysis. I'm Izzah Insyirah binti Muhammad Yahni. My group member are Aisyah Kristina binti Arif Asmawi, Umi Ain Nazirah binti Rosdi, and Siti Nur Khadijah binti Muhammad Amin. Okay, now I will explain about table of contents. First, I will describe about the company that contains the background of the company, subsidiaries, company, vision and mission, objective and type of industry. Second, I will explain about financial performance, which is divided into 5 parts, namely liquidity ratios, efficiency ratios, leverage ratios, profitability ratios, and market ratios. In closing, I will end with a conclusion. Well, I will continue with background of the company. Berjaya Food Berhad was incorporated in Malaysia on 21st October 2009. It was converted into a public limited company on 3rd December 2009. List on the main market of Bursa Malaysia Securities Berhad on 8 March 2011. There are 4 subsidiaries under Berjaya Food Berhad, namely Berjaya Roasters Sendirian Berhad, Berjaya Starbucks Coffee Company Sendirian Berhad, Jollibee Food Private Limited, and Sir Vegano Sendirian Berhad. Vision of the company is to be the leading food and beverage organization with a portfolio of reputable brands that will enhance profitable and sustainable growth and stakeholder returns. Meanwhile, there are 4 missions of the company, which are to ensure, provide a people culture that is performance driven and built on the foundations of personal development, diversity, and mutual respect for each other. Second, to ensure total customer satisfaction. Third, to generate a profitable rate of return for all our shareholders. And last, to carry out our business in ways that are socially and environmentally responsible.
Okay, next I will continue with objective and the type of industry for Berjaya Food Berhad. The objective of Berjaya Food Berhad is that they plan to open more Kenny Rogers Roasters (KKR) small format stores in FY21, and they aims to capture changing consumer trends in view of the increasing popularity of the grab and go concept store. For financial objective, they want to maintain abundant financial resources that are available for the development of the company's business while managing its market risk. Next, type of industry. Berjaya Food Berhad is a Malaysia-based investment holding company. Through its subsidiaries, is engaged in the development and operation of restaurant, cafe chains and retail outlets in Malaysia and other Southeast Asian countries. Okay, the second topic is to evaluate the financial performance Berjaya Food Berhad. Okay, first part is liquidity ratios. Liquidity ratio have 2 categories, which is current ratio and quick ratio. Okay, I will start with current ratio. The graph shows that Berjaya Food Berhad company's current ratio 0.22 times in year 2020 is lower compared to 0.26 times and 0.34 times in 2019 and 2018. That means the company unable to pay current liabilities using the current asset because the company's inventories increased in year 2020, and the company is also having some difficulty to pay its short-term debt. This suggestion is first, to avoid having too much stock on hand, the company should grow its sales more actively. Second, in order to enhance their current ratio, the company should settle off current liabilities. Next is quick ratio. Berjaya Food Berhad Company's quick ratio shows lower in 2020, which is 0.12 times compared to 0.2 and 0.14 times in 2018 and 2019, which is the company is having difficulty to pay short-term debt with current assets without depending on inventory or prepayment. For suggestion, to generate cash on hand, the company should sell its inventory so that the company has greater assets in terms of liquidity. Second, in order to prevent overstocking, the company should establish a just-in-time system in which inventory is acquired from suppliers only when it's required. Lastly, in order to enhance their current ratio, the company should settle off their current liabilities.
I will introduce the efficiency ratio for companies Berjaya Food Berhad. So, for efficiency ratio, have 4 categories. First, average collection period, 2 inventory turnover, 3 total asset turnover, and 4 fixed asset turnover. And so, we go to average collection period. Can be seen based on the graph analysis that feature the accumulation for year 2018 being larger than 2019 and 2020 by 30 days. High payment and no cash dedication because an attractive shortage for customer to make yearly payments. The purpose is to shorten the debt collection period to attract customer to make yearly payments. Need to follow the dates have been complete and update at least weekly. Therefore, it can benefit the management of account receivable. So, we will go to inventory turnover. Based on the analysis from the graph, in 2018, the company inventory was 10.5%, and year 2019 was 11.87% as compared to year 2020, which has shown a decrease of X.66%. Perhaps in that year, the country was experiencing an epidemic of disease that caused product to be stored in warehouse, shortage of stock, overstocking, and result in excess inventory. First suggestion is that companies need to formulate better marketing strategies to create more demand in the industry. For example, focus on advertising, mass media, or holding events and promotional offer because it can get rid of stock that have long been stored. So next, total asset turnover. Based on the analysis from the graph, the company efficiency ratio of using asset in sale is very orderly in year 2019, which is 0.92% compared to year 2020 and 2018 as low as 0.51% and 0.78%. This has resulted in some assets having to be disposed of as high cash balance have affected very low return due to the outbreak that was raging during the year. First suggestion is that the company will have a different way of selling here for business declines and sell such as increasing efficiency, which can affect low asset turnover ratio and analysis of how assets are used to increase productivity. So, lastly, fixed asset turnover can be seen based on the analysis on the graph. Year 2019 showed a very good reputation compared to year 2020 and 2018, which is 0.56% and 0.88%. It is likely that the main business need to be invested and result in large investment return in fixed asset. For succession, that needs to be made is that the company should increase the income of disposable asset, such as increase sale by increasing information, as well as making a schedule of movement stable for the preparation of finished goods.
Okay, I will present about leverage ratio. Leverage ratio have three categories. First one is debt ratio, second is debt equity ratio, last is term interest earned. Okay, first is debt ratio. Berjaya Food Berhad's debt ratio has increased in 2019 and 2020. It is up from 52.41% in 2018 to 57.22% in 2018 and 72.88% in 2020. The company is acquiring more current and non-current liability according to the financial statement. However, it may have an effect on the company's debt ratio. The assets a company determine its ability to pay the debts. Despite the fact the company's debt ratio is largest, it should keep the close eyes on its debt is either to lower in addition, the corporation should grow sales to assist in debt reduction. Second is debt to equity ratio. The results show increase in 2019 until 2020. In 2019, the debt to equity ratio is 133.76%, while in 2020 is 268.76%. Compared to 2018, it's 110.15%. The results show the company independent on the debt financing compared to equity financing. It also shows the company is restored toward the investor. It also may affect the company to bankrupt because the low capability of the company to pay off debit. The company should increase the sale, then it will help the company to pay the debit as soon as possible. Furthermore, the company should get financing to equity, which is a stock or bond, because it will help the company in bankrupt risk and paying high interest payment. It also will attract investors to invest the company where there is less debit financings. Okay, this last in leverage ratio is time interest earned. Time interest earned show higher in 2019 is 3.51 times. Meanwhile, in 2020, the time interest earned dropped in 0.75 times compared to 2018, 2.18 times. In 2019, it showed the Berjaya Food Berhad has higher ability to pay interest obligation using an operation profit. Despite that, in 2020, the Berjaya Food Berhad will fail to meet the interest obligation by using operation profit. This will lead the Berjaya Food Berhad to bankrupt. Low time interest earned is strong inductor for the company to bankrupt. The Berjaya Food Berhad should reduce the amount of debt on the company's balance sheet to lower the company interest payment. Furthermore, the company should profitably increase its sales to help increase earnings before interest and tax. This then will help improve the times interest earning ratio. Okay, I will continue about profitability ratio. Profitability ratio have 4 categories. First is net profit margin, second is operating profit margin, third is return on asset, and the last is return on equity. First of the net profit margin. The net profit margin 2020 is negative 3.0%. The result show decrease in 2020. It is because sales during the year were less profitable. So I think Berjaya Food should has to use its existing asset in full according to the amount per unit, and Berjaya Food need to promote product all over the world. Second is operating profit margin. The result shown in 2020 have a small decrease. The result is 4.1%. The firm should lower the cost of a good supply as well as its operational cost. The firm should seek for new raw material that are less expensive while maintaining the same level of equality. Okay, third one is the return on asset. The result shown in 2020 is negative 1.63%, and it should decrease result. In 2020, this company has spent more on asset. The company should keep its technology, particularly its machine, and up to date. If the firm has spare space, it may rent out the others to have save costs and generate revenue. The last one is return on asset. The result shown in last year in negative 6.02%. They display the data. Berjaya Food is not good in the managing the equity financing from the investor in financing operation. The corporation need to save expenses by writing out surplus asset in the business. If the firm has a branch that sells less, it should think about keep it open. When the sale is discovered that the surplus asset is not being used to full personnel, it's preferable to close down failed branch.
Last part is market ratio. Market ratio have two categories, which is earning per share and dividend per share. First, earning per share. The earning per share ratio shows a much lower negative 5 cent in 2020 compared to 6 cent and 9 ringgit 19 cent in 2019 and 2018. It means that the company is losing money and has less profit to the shareholder or investor because of the current situation, which is pandemic COVID-19. For suggestion, in order to attract new investor to participate in the company and retain confidence between the investor and the company, I think the company should properly manage and attempt to maintain if their earning per share have already increased. Second, dividend per share. The company's dividend per share shows 2 cent in 2020, lower than 5 cent in 2019. But dividend per share for 2019 is higher than 2018. Year 2019, the company already improved their dividend per share for a better performance to its shareholders, but in 2020 decreased because of pandemic COVID-19. Next, for suggestion, in order to attract new investor, I think the company should boost its dividend per share to shareholders, and to increase dividend, maybe they should develop and grow its product in new markets or launch new products combining product innovation and equity funding. I think this strategy will aid business in increase their sales, profits and dividend to shareholders.
Based on the analysis that we can get from Berjaya Food Berhad company in 2020, there are various obstacles and problems that have occurred in work, economic activities in the face of the COVID-19 epidemic that spreads and harms human health and livelihoods in our country. So, we we need a way to overcome this problem to prevent economic problems from continuing to fall. Therefore, all the above is not for a particular country, but almost all over the world, because each country needs a place to invest, import goods, and so on. So, every company must have its own strategy, and for that, I suggest launching new sales channels. For example, selling product by doing business online, because with that, the company can grow rapidly. In addition, expansion funding can also be used to raise capital for company size through a variety of techniques. For example, it can be used to finance external growth through mergers and acquisition.